All right, I am back. I'm here. Okay, so Georgia on my mind. So let's take a look at this, okay? So there are a couple of things that I wanted to explain to you about, you and Georgia on my mind. You pretty much, like I said, you pretty much got the chords and all of that down. But now we need to really, kick the piano playing up, take it to the next level, kick it up a notch. A couple of things I want you to try. Number one, experimenting with hands apart. Now notice when we tend to learn piano, most students, we tend to learn to play and hear hands together. So if we're at Georgia, Georgia, a whole day through, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. So pretty much like that. Okay? So, but what I want you to do, just kind of kick our, piano playing and professionalism up. Experimenting with, having our hands farther apart to kind of more fill out the sound. Now, you sing this song when you play. And so you're already about here in this range. Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, just a note. So you're about here. So you're singing it about here. So what we can do is kind of experiment with the bass. So that way you're outlining your sound when you sing and play, and so you're not fighting against yourself. The great thing about being, both the pianist and singer at the same time is that you get to control exactly what goes on. So your playing should help to highlight and benefit and boost your singing. So one means of doing that to kind of give it a more full and kind of cleaner sound, try playing instead of here, more kind of octaves, 2 octaves apart. So if we're at, what's our beginning? It's a C over G. I'll do it again. So you're about. If I'm recalling correctly, that's about the range that you play it. But what if we tried? Let's see, what do I want to do? Georgia. So now it goes to B7. Georgia. A whole day through, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia, Georgia, all day through, just an old sweet song. There we go, D7. Keep Georgia on my mind. So, yeah, I'll need to practice that a little bit more. This is your song. I know this is a song that you're learning. But yeah. But you hear kind of the difference from when, I played it through. Like I said, I don't normally play this song a lot. But when I played it through, how there was a different kind of some extra voicing at the top, and you had your bass kind of leading at the bottom. So just kind of getting it that more polish. Another thing too that I want you to experiment with, and I kind of did it a little bit when I played, and that is with the bass. We know that our bass is. particular, we know that our bass, our left hand when we're playing, is kind of a substitute for a great, jazz acoustic double bass player. So when we play a bass, we can do what we call approaches. That is approaches to a note. Now there are generally 3 different types of approaches. There's approach of the 5 to the 1, a dominant approach. So if I'm just even with my first bass note G, 5 to 1, D to G, ba-da. That's one way. There's also a stepwise approach, which is going from a whole note either from above or from below. In this case, G, an A to a G. That's a stepwise approach. Now, the third approach is the chromatic approach, which is doing one or more chromatic notes moving chromatically up to our target note. That's what I'm saying for G. Now, one step, or if I want to do, so if I did that, what's the air introduction? Do it again. So now see what I did? I just approached it chromatically. Now I could have just, Georgia, that was an approach that I did. So with our bass, and a lot of this too is going to take, honestly, like a lot of this learning and being comfortable with scales and with our chromatic scale. Now we haven't, maybe I think in our next lesson we'll probably talk about chromatic scale, because for music that, you like to do and me too, it's going to be fundamental for us to be able to, when I practice it I can get it. So that'll probably be another lesson, but that will help us out when we do our chromatic approaches. So left hand with the bass, if I did that, Georgia, another chromatic approach. So I just, now a stepwise approach could be, or I like that better, the A. So the first thing I did was that Georgia, G major. A stepwise approach to the next one, now B, A to B. That's a stepwise approach. The second one I was talking about. The first one would have been dominant. The 5 of B is F sharp, so 5, 1. So from the beginning, Georgia, dominant approach, Georgia. All right, let me demonstrate again one more time. So next, the stepwise approach, Georgia, step from below, Georgia. A chromatic approach from below, Georgia, Georgia. You see what I'm saying? So with the left hand, things that would help, of course, circle of fifths, our scales, for our stepwise approaches, and then a chromatic. And we'll talk about chromatic scale, probably another lesson, another video. But yeah, so these are things that I have regarding Georgia on my mind. All right?